I was very, very disappointed in the Kansas City Chiefs for a couple of reasons. Number one, we were reminded about their defense, how they can't stop the run, particularly when it counts. 2 big passes they surrendered to Travis Benjamin, courtesy of Phillip Rivers, and that arm of his. We got to give credit where credit is due. But in the same breath, I'm looking at Kansas City's offense. We know their defense stinks.
Yeah.
We know their defense is not that impressive. We're looking for them to do something offensively. And you get the ball with over 3 minutes left, and you can't convert. You get up out of there, you can't even get a first down, and Andy Reid ultimately gives the ball to San Diego's offense, knowing the probability of them being able to stop the Chargers is slim to none. I had a real problem with that. I got to give the Chargers credit because, again, Phillip Rivers was a monster, no doubt about it. Travis Benjamin came up big. We can't deny that. We saw that Mike Williams obviously was balling. This is the kid that came out of Clemson a couple of years ago. Biggest game of his career thus far in the National Football League. He showed up. He showed out when it counted. Major props to Coach Anthony Lynn. 2-point conversion. You're on the road. You're playing to win. You're not playing to tie. We get all of that, but it was still a gutsy call on his part to go for the win. The Los Angeles Chargers deserve all the credit in the world. I'm not taking anything away from them. But the Kansas City Chiefs their team this year, their success has been predicated on what they do offensively, because you know you can't trust your defense. And somehow, some way, you got the ball with under 4 minutes left. You got to chew up clock. You got to keep the ball in your hand. You got to move the chains. And unfortunately, they weren't able to do that, Max, and obviously it cost them.
The Chargers are going to win the division. And, Stephen A., you're right. When you look at the schedule, you may favor the Chiefs because on the road at Seattle, but then home against the Raiders, you're going to get at least one win out of that. May just be one, but at least one. But the Chargers have 2 losable games. They host the Ravens. You could lose that game. Even a good team can lose at home to the Ravens. Ask the Chargers. It almost happened. And then at Broncos. Denver's a tough place to play. And that's a solid team. It's not a great team, but a win over the Broncos is a quality win. So the schedule favors the Chiefs. But the Chargers are going to win the division. And I told you in the preseason this was the best team in the AFC. They are the most well-balanced team, yes. When you look what they can do offensively and defensively, you go, okay, fine. They're more well-balanced than the Chiefs. By the way, the Chiefs can get pressure on the passer. Their front 4 can rush the passer. The problem is clearly in their back 7 defensively. I mean, we saw it again last night.
Yep.
And Mike Williams, what a game. You guys mentioned it. What a game.
And by the way, Max, if you got Eric Berry back, it would be nice to see him a lot in the second half.
Yeah, although he's just getting back. We knew he'd be limited the first week back. But look, getting back to the Chargers, it's not just the X's and O's and the talent on the field and all that, guys. It's not just I'm looking at the schedule and thinking, well, maybe they could do it. It's their year. This is a snake-bit franchise. As you say about the Cowboys, if something can go wrong, it will go wrong. The difference is no one cares with the Chargers. So this year, it's been different. A couple times I said, is this the same old Chargers? Phillip Rivers with a boneheaded interception late in the game. Oh, it's the same old. No, it's not. And partly that's because, and I love Marty Schottenheimer, underrated coach, a great coach who's underrated. I don't blame him for their failures in the playoffs. But what you see with the Chargers right now is guts. That was a gutsy call to go for 2, to go for the win. It's the kind of call I've been championing all season, even when it hasn't worked. That's the right thing to do. They have a quarterback who has never been to a Super Bowl, who has seen his contemporaries in the same draft, the guy he was traded for, win 2 Super Bowl MVPs, the other guy win 2 Super Bowls and be a perennial Pro Bowler. Phillip Rivers doesn't have that hardware, the postseason hardware. He has the best chance he's had his entire career with a coach who's not afraid to go for it. I'm telling you right now, the Chargers win this division, and they will ultimately represent the AFC in the Super Bowl.
Well, listen, I understand.
You didn't even bring up the weather.
Well, listen, because you know what?
Getting it done, winning 5 straight on the road.
I will say this. Okay, that is fair because the reality is that I'm a stickler for the weather because I understand cold weather can, just essentially hinder what you want to do. But coming from L.A., but the Chargers showed up last night, handled their business. But let's keep in mind, we're talking about the 28th ranked defense, which is the Kansas City Chiefs. 30th in yards allowed, okay? This is what we're talking about with the Kansas City Chiefs. So obviously that just elevates the level of importance for your offense to produce because you know you can't rely on these guys. Last 4 possessions for the Chargers. Scored 3 touchdowns and a winning 2-point conversion in their last 4 possessions of this game. The Kansas City Chiefs had a 14-point lead and lost it in 5 minutes. A 14-point lead and lost it in 5 minutes. With that offense, that's inexcusable because as you brought up, Max, it brings up those memories of what Marty Schottenheimer and people even before him brought to the table when they were coaches of the Kansas City. Their snake bit, as you just highlighted. And you talk about the Chargers.
They have been.
Kansas City.
Yeah,
I'm talking Kansas City. I'm talking Kansas City, though. You got people there that still believe this about them. Somehow, some way, they'll find a way to mess it up.
Look, the Kansas City Chiefs, another reason I'm taking the Chargers, Patrick Mahomes early in that game showed you why he is obviously and correctly viewed as a generational talent. The most electric arm since a young Brett Favre. Plays on the run, spinning out and finding the guy down the field that only Aaron Rodgers can make. Really, only Aaron Rodgers makes that kind of play and with that level of difficulty. So many times the calm and poise where it looks like the play's over and he turns it into a first down or a touchdown. And in that game, in a game without Melvin Gordon, in a game without Eckler, in the cold weather, down 2 touchdowns to that generational talent, the Chargers came back. This is a special team in a special year. I am telling you right now, they are repping the AFC, and they are going to win this division.
But we also have to remember, Max, no Spencer Ware, no Sammy Watkins for the Kansas City Chiefs as well. You know, we're talking about no Eckler and Gordon.
And we didn't bring up Kareem Hunt because he ain't coming back. So.
No, he wasn't mentioned in the game.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, like, maybe with Kareem Hunt,
Max, last
a little
point.
different.
Let me tell you one of the biggest things the Chargers deserve so credit for. Tyreek Hill, 4 receptions. Tyreek Hill. Shut down. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see even with Derwin James and those boys. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that from Tyreek Hill.